Look, every time it snows, Donald Trump tweets that climate change doesn't exist. What an ignorant position. It seems to me that we need a president of the most intellectually proficient and scientifically literate nation in human history to follow pure science and understand the difference between weather and climate. He does not. We need a president who's going to lead us to a vision statement and a mission of the United States to defeat climate change, and I hope that day comes sooner rather than later.
I'm going to call it a wall. You know, they'd like me to call it a barrier. It's a wall. It's a big, beautiful, powerful steel wall that you can see through, which is very important to be able to see through. And if you don't have it, you're not going to have borders. You're not going to have a country pretty soon. I expect to have 250 to 300 miles of wall built in the very near future.
President Trump defending his emergency border wall today while meeting with the nation's governors, even as 16 states are about to challenge the president's emergency order, or already have, in court. Joining me now is the Democratic governor of Washington State, Jay Inslee. Governor, thank you very much for being with us.
Good afternoon.
Well, good afternoon to you. Tell me about this meeting with the president today. And he's described it variously as a wall, a fence, barriers, saying that it's already under construction, that it's now going to be under construction. What did you take from your meeting today?
Nothing productive. The president still is living in this never, never land and feeding us a bunch of baloney. This vanity project of his, and that's what it is, it's not a national emergency, it's a political emergency for him in his failures. And this has been rejected by both parties. That's the thing that is interesting. To me, there has been a bipartisan rejection of this waste of money. We could be spending these billions of dollars educating kids. We do have a national emergency in climate change, and we've talked about today with governors the facts that we do have real emergencies in our states, and forest fires and floods that he continues to do nothing about. So we are hopeful the Republicans will stand up in the Senate, and if not, the Supreme Court, and our state will be suing him the moment he tries to take money out of our state.
Other states have already sued. Is there a reason why you're waiting to see what happens with your own money?
Yes, we have a really good track record of beating Donald Trump, and that's because we sue at the right moment. And our lawyers are telling us the right moment to sue is the moment that the president purports to try to take money out of our state and hurts our economy. So that complaint's already drafted. We're ready to push the green button if the Republicans turn tail. And look, the Republicans took an oath to the Constitution, not to Donald Trump. And if they'll follow all of their language of the last 10 years, they'll vote to rescind this exercise in political vanity. I hope they do. But if not, we need the Supreme Court to stand up for fundamental American democracy.
Well, you've been a big advocate on climate issues for years, decades, really. Now,
right.
The White House is convening a panel to study whether climate change is real. Is that the way you read it?
Well, unfortunately, that seems to be the case. I brought our concerns to the EPA administrator, acting administrator, yesterday. Of course, they ignored the science. They ignored the clear consensus, the clear recognition by Donald Trump's own government has found that this is really an existential threat to the security and safety and health of our country. I talked to Acting Director Bernhard this morning and asked him about this, and I said, this seems to be an insane waste of money to try to ignore the thousands of scientists that work for your own administration. And he said, well, it's not a final decision yet. That smells fishy to me, that they actually are trying to again subvert. Look, every time it snows, Donald Trump tweets that climate change doesn't exist. What an ignorant position. It seems to me that we need a president of the most intellectually proficient and scientifically literate nation in human history to follow pure science and understand the difference between weather and climate. He does not. We need a president who's going to lead us to a vision statement and a mission of the United States to defeat climate change, and I hope that day comes sooner rather than later.
Well, I know you've been to Nevada, you've been to New Hampshire. You're considering Iran. Why not just announce it today, Governor? Going to do it?
Well, we have a lot of friends, and I think you'll see some announcement shortly about our intentions, and I do believe this moment is ripe. The American people understand that the fires that burned down Paradise, California, the floods, it's time for action. We can build an economy around clean energy. I'm an optimist by nature. America's an optimist nation We got to start that effort now.
Where do you fit, given how many senators and others, some governors already, other governors, former governors like Hickenlooper are thinking of getting in, Terry McAuliffe. Where do you fit into this spectrum, this diverse group of candidates already declared? A lot of women, people of color?
Well, I think it's great. We've got a very diverse field. I was proud to have the most women in our cadre of gubernatorial candidates as chair of the DGA this year. Where I fit in is, I would say that I have a unique position of having a vision and a willingness to say that climate change and our mission to defeat it has to be the #1 priority for the next administration. This has to be the organizing principle of the United States so that we can build a new clean energy and build those millions of jobs. And I would be the person with executive experience that actually have got that job done. America is ready for this. I've traveled to these 3 states. They're being hammered by climate change. Iowa, when I was there, farmers couldn't get out in the field because it was so wet. So the country is ready for an optimistic president. I just may be able to suit that purpose.
Jay Inslee, Governor, thank you so much.
Thank you.
When you're ready to announce, come on back.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Thank you. And coming up.